What's up, guys? 5869 back again with Game 2 of Team Chunch versus the Electric Panther experience. That's right, Game 1, Team Chunch took it fairly convincingly. Didn't look like, they had it 100%, a little bit wonky around the middle of the game, but they ended up coming out on top. I do think they had the better draft, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to jump right into the picks and bans as Team Chunch going to get rid of the Doom. Panthers, they're going to get rid of the Tuskar, so very standard, very standard. Tuskar, Doom, Quap, very strong heroes, tier 1 pick and ban. Certainly up there around 80, 90, 100% pick ban rate across, amateur and pro Dota, as they're going to get rid of the Shadow Fiend as well. So a little bit odd. Usually I don't think Dyer's going to go for the first pick Shadow Fiend. I think you can kind of try to let that one slip through as Radiant. If they give it up, you have the Radiant side Shadow Fiend. If they pick it, it's just the Dyer Shadow Fiend. It's not as scary. Certainly beatable. You can still grab the Windrunner, the Lina. Still have very strong mid heroes. Nevertheless, they are going to get rid of it. Now Dyer, they've got a few options here. Of course, we've got the Dazzle and the Slider. There we go. So Slider is going to get picked up. We've got still left in the pool the Darkseer, Earthshaker as well. We've seen a lot of amateur teams more comfortable with the Earthshaker, and there it is. The Earthshaker is going to be the first pick for the Electric Panthers here. Dazzle, Witch Doctor, like I said, Windrunner. Usually when the Queen of Pain as well as the Shadow Fiend get banned out, there's not too many really strong mids. I think those two heroes are definitely the strongest, the ones that you want to be like the most scared of, I would say. And look at that, the Panthers are going to go with the Winter Wyvern. So despite the fact that they already are up against the Slardar, they're not all that scared. They grab the Wyvern. They've got a lot of physical damage resistance now. They've got that nice heal. Slardar can't really do much through that. Majority of his damage is physical. And the Earthshaker to back them up. And this could be quite scary. If it's a support Earthshaker, we could see some offlane Darkseer shenanigans. You got the Vac, the Echo Slam, the Winter's Curse. A lot of teamfight possibilities. So we'll see if Chunch is going to try and get rid of that, if they'll pick up the Darkseer for themselves. They already have the Slardar, so unless they want to move that to support, might be a little bit awkward there, as are going to move into their second pick of the first phase now, and going to be quite interesting to see what they go with. I think Dazzle probably your best pick, in all honesty here. Sure, they've already got the Wyvern, the physical damage isn't that great, but I just think all around Dazzle's such a strong hero, and yeah, they will go for the Dazzle. I just think you can kind of have that TP on him. If he needs to, he can rotate mid or to the offlane to prevent a gank, perhaps even turn it around. But he's just such a strong hero around all levels. That Shallow Grave is just so incredibly strong, keeping somebody alive a little bit longer. And then, of course, on top of that, you've always got to keep in mind, do we have to ban out the Huskar now? They've got the Dazzle, they've got the Slardar, two heroes that are good at dealing with the Huskar, but if they kind of leave it in the pool, is it going to be last pick worthy? So maybe the Electric Panthers are going to be forced to give away one of their bans just on getting rid of that Huskar, and Team Chunch can kind of play around that, pick up something a little bit stronger, like, a Gyrocopter, a Juggernaut, a hero that normally maybe wouldn't have gotten through, but unfortunately will because of that Dazzle pick, and they're actually going to get rid of the Lich. So they're going to say, you know what, we don't want to deal with that early on Lich being able to kind of rotate around. I think Lich within the first couple of minutes is one of the strongest heroes. You can deny a creep in the off lane, move to the mid lane, stack the first camp at 30 seconds, move back to the mid lane, deny a creep mid lane, and then move up. Try and get your level 2 either top lane or in the off lane. Try to get your level 2, push out the opposing mid hero with that Frost Blast early on. Just be a little bit annoying. So, pretty strong hero. I think a little bit underpicked, especially in the amateur leagues where people can be way more experimental. Maybe not the most efficient in pro play, but I do think he has his place, and they're going to kind of get rid of him. They're going to say, all right, we don't want to deal with that Frost Armor. We don't want to let you guys take Frost Armor and just kind of negate this, negative armor, physical damage plan we're going for. So, going to get rid of that Lich, and the Electric Panthers, like we thought, they are going to get rid of that Huskar. Fairly obvious one there, as of course, he would have paired very well with the Dazzle. And they're going to ban out the Gyrocopter on Team Chunch there. So, there you go. They're going to, instead of maybe trying to keep it for themselves, they're going to ban out the Gyro. Surprisingly, because Gyro is one of the better heroes at dealing with the Wyvern, of course, call down Rocket Barrage. Very strong abilities, and easily able to chew through that Cold Embrace. And then the Electric Panther, similar to last game, going to get rid of the Naga Siren, so not really comfortable playing against the Naga. Perhaps Team Chunch does have a Naga player that I might not be aware of, but it doesn't matter because they're going to get rid of it anyways. And now the Electric Panther, they're going to be looking for a core, most likely a mid laner. I think with the Huskar out, you probably want to try to pick up a mid hero since there's not too many really strong tier 1 mids remaining. Windrunner, Ember Spirit, Perhaps a Meepo if anybody's a Meepo player. Lena still, fairly good mid heroes that are left in the pool. Outside of that, there's not too many tier 1 mids. There's certainly other heroes that you can still run that are strong. Invoker, we've seen even some pro teams run, not as often as he used to, but we definitely do see him get picked up here and there. And looks like the Electric Panthers, they're going to go with the Ember Spirit. Fairly safe pick. Is a little bit susceptible to some of this physical damage that the Slider and the Dazzle are going to be outputting. But now Team Chunch kind of has to think, do we pick up a hero with magical damage now as a core? Or do we go for something like a Windrunner who would be fairly good, aside from, dealing with the Wyvern Cold Embrace, sure. But they're going to go with the Razor. They're going to say, all right, you grab the Ember, we pick the Razor. We're going to go for this one-on-one mid, and this is a little bit odd. I think Razor, unless you're like Fata, I think Razor is a fairly underwhelming hero. He's got a lot of little nuances that make him a somewhat difficult hero to play him to maximum efficiency. Certainly good against Ember Spirit in lane, certainly good against any melee hero or even ranged hero in lane. That static link is just so strong at winning the lane, but it's definitely going to be tough. And early on they could throw the Wyvern mid. Obviously, that level 1 Arctic Burn is always so annoying. You just throw Arctic Burn mid, maybe use the Flame Guard after that. Even the Chains isn't too bad at level 1, but Arctic Burn, Flame Guard, Chains, you do a lot of early damage, and then, sure, he links you, but you're not going for the right clicks anyways. You're just going for that damage over time with the Arctic Burn, and maybe after that, Ember Spirit gets a slightly early bottle. He ferries that salve and looks to just win the lane that way, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's going to be really interesting to see how this Ember Spirit and how the Electric Panthers all together kind of play around this Razor, because, again, that's more physical damage that they're bringing over here on Team Chunch, and it just means that around the mid-game, when the Slardar gets the Blink Dagger, it's going to be a little bit more difficult in general for the Electric Panthers to play around that. They're going to have the Blink. Perhaps the Razor's going to go for the mech, maybe the S and Y play, and get a little bit tanky early on. Dazzle does have that nice sustain, so they don't really need a super rushed mech, but nevertheless, a lot of mid-game fight potential coming up for Team Chunch right now. Ember Spirit, really good at mid-game, rotates in a late game really well with that Sleight of Fist, but not too good against the physical damage. Really going to be looking for that Winter Wyvern to back them up. The Electric Panthers, though, they're going to pick up a Spirit Breaker, and I really like this is going to be a really strong frontline tanker here in the Spirit Breaker. And they're just going to be looking to charge in, get him on the initiation, and just really annoy some of these frontlining heroes. Slardar maybe not able to get in the back to the Ember Spirit. He can just kind of dance around, Sleight of Fist, Chains multiple times in a fight, and Spirit Breaker really adds a nice little element to the Electric Panther experience that Team Chunch is going to have maybe a little bit of difficulty dealing with, as they do still have the option for the Darkseer, which could be strong since we've only got 3 melee cores right now, or 3 melee heroes all together, as Ember Spirit could be played mid, could be played in the safe lane. They may try to rotate him towards the safe lane, which means, yeah, you could pick the Darkseer. It's not as strong against the Flame Guard. Still annoying for him to deal with. Then the Wyvern maybe has to stay in the lane, give him the Cold Embrace for the heals, and instead they're going to go for the Spectre. So they're going to say, all right, you want to go late game with the Ember Spirit? We'll go late game with the Spectre. Not a bad pick. I think the physical damage potential, again, is there. They're kind of going all in on this physical damage, so if we do see the Electric Panther experience look to pick up some early things like Vlad's AC, perhaps if they get a core that's good with AC, or just some items that'll help bolster their armor, could be really helpful. And it's going to be odd. The Haunt's not going to be that good. The Earthshaker and the Spirit Breaker strength heroes, they're going to be a little bit tankier, so they're not these classic supports like a Witch Doctor, Crystal Maiden, that when you haunt on them, they have to be really careful. Lion heroes that are really squishy, so they're not all too worried. The Wyvern might have to use the Cold Embrace on herself, but that's really the biggest issue that I see here with the Haunt, because the Haunt truly is one of the strongest aspects of the Spectre that you can farm, Haunt in, occupy a support, maybe 2 if possible, and just make the team fight a little bit more difficult for the Electric Panther experience. But moving into our last ban, they're going to be looking to ban off another support. Witch Doctor, still a strong support left in the pool. Skywrath Mage does have some potential to help out here. He gives a little bit of magic damage. Ember Spirit, again, does have that Flame Guard to soak some of it up, but the Silence, of course, is very useful. They're going to get rid of the Ancient Apparition. I think a really good pick as well. I don't really think of the AA all that often, but certainly a good pick that a lot of teams are grabbing up against the heroes like the Wyvern and the Dazzle. So they're going to get rid of that AA, and now Team Chunch going to get rid of the Phantom Lancer here. So not too much to deal with that AoE, and they'll get rid of the PL. And now the Electric Panthers, who are they going to look to pick up? as their safe laner. We've still got a Juggernaut, which is pretty strong. I think they don't have too many things to cancel Spin TP. Maybe a Lucky Bash. He should have an alright time, whether or not you pick up a Darkseer for some reason as your last pick and move Slardar over to the support, something like that. But I think Juggernaut's probably the best pick here. Could go something like the safe lane Lina, wouldn't be bad. Pure damage going to be helpful against the Spectre. And look at that, they're going to go with the safe lane, most likely the safe lane Silencer. And look at that, Team Chunch just going to say, alright, we'll pick up the Night Stalker. A little bit scary in my opinion. Both the Night Stalker and the Slardar have very shallow mana pools. And if if the Silencer gets off to an early start stealing intelligence, it's going to be really annoying for Team Chunch here. So it will be a support Night Stalker. Filter going to be on that off lane Slardar. And let's just get right into it as both teams already getting a smoke on the Spirit Breaker and a smoke on the Night Stalker as well. So both teams starting off with a smoke just like last game. We'll see if they're going to look to smoke up and potentially have a nice little fight around the rune, as the Radiant does have a lot of early fight potential here with the Silencer. Of course, the Wyvern, Nilla even being able to use that wall, that fissure. Just so annoying. Block off half the team, maybe stun up a hero or two, and looks like maybe Nilla just going to rotate up into that off lane. Going to sell that clarity. Doesn't really think he needs it. Solitas going to throw out the good luck, have fun here, and we'll just jump right into it. So it will be mid lane Ember Spirit versus the mid lane Razor. They're not going to try to dodge and throw the Silencer mid. They will keep him in the safe lane. And Nilla saying up 1-0. No, Team Chunch should be up 1-0. Looks like the Electric Panthers did something wrong there, as it says they're up 1 game, but realistically they're actually down 1 game. This is game 2 in the best of 3, and the Electric Panthers are down 1 game. So Dire Structure is going to be fortified. Hopefully that's not going to come back to bite them in the arse, but probably shouldn't, as a lot of the Dire stacking up around this top rune here. Don't want to give it up, but it looks like the Radiant's going to do the exact opposite. Go bottom, and Nilla going to place that ward. A little bit of odd placement, as it will block this camp, but it won't really do much here. I believe it'll block this camp. It's really close to blocking it. I'll keep an eye on that one, but if it does, they'll know that the ward's somewhere around here. Usually you can kind of place it down here, and then it's a little difficult. You have to usually waste 2 sentries to deward it. Probably put 1 here, and then 1 somewhere like here. Try and get the deward there, but nevertheless, we'll see how that Observer ward works out for them. Looks like we're not going to have any first bloods around this, 5 to 10 second mark early on with the rune, and will be the Ember Spirit going for the Flame Guard first. War God is going to go for, yeah, there it is, the Static Link, only stealing 12 damage, but early on, now you're hitting for 48, and Devin, he's up there around the 60-70 damage mark, and it's going to be really hard to contest this early CS, and that's unfortunate, because when you're playing up against somebody like a Razor, you want the early boots, you want the early bottle for the regen that you'll nevertheless probably end up needing because of his right clicks that he's just going to output onto you. So Solitas going to have a little bit of an annoying time here, back up to the damage he's used to, but yeah, especially as the Ember Spirit, you want the bottle so you can use Flame Guard and chains quite often. And yeah, again, stealing more damage, 22 damage now, so just going to be really annoying for him in this lane. Mac getting a little bit low right now, so Filter getting quite aggressive here, just with the level 1 into the sprint. Scrub does look like he went for the curse there, so going to be trying to burn the mana, but sprint doesn't really cost any mana. You can spam that one out and play a little bit safer around that. And now Filter maybe thinking about going on Scrub, who is quite low right now. It's just going to throw out the 1 right click and back off, so nice little bit of harass traded there, top lane. Meanwhile, Nilla going to throw out the fissure. Couple tower hits actually going to go out on the Spectre, so a little annoying for him that he had to tank that damage. Does have the Shadow Wave there to help keep him alive a little bit longer. 38 damage, stolen from Devin in the mid lane, who actually does Fairy out to salve himself as well. So looks like Solitas this game does decide to trade that, and it looks like I did miss the first blood bot lane. Slardar does go down to the charge, as well as the Arctic Burn, and the curse doesn't actually manage to get any stolen intelligence off that one though. So it looks like Scrub maybe playing a little bit far back there, and unfortunately won't get that nice early int up against the Slardar. And that's what I was saying. It's going to be important for him to get that intelligence if he really wants to, push this mid-game advantage that they could have 42 damage now stolen here. And Solitas doesn't really have a hope of winning this lane all that easily here. As look at that damage War God's outputting. Solitas got to be a little bit careful right now, as he does actually go for the Unstable Current, surprisingly enough, considering there isn't really a targetable ability over here from Solitas to pop that, and will now put it into the other ability here as bot lane Scrub, as well as Nyarla Getting a little bit aggressive. Filter will just pop the sprint to get rid of the curse, and taking more mana for Scrub than he's even burning here. Not really all that efficient as top lane. Now Nilla maybe in a little bit of trouble. There's the dagger. There's the Night Stalker running in with the Void here. Now Nilla maybe body block's not going to get body blocked here actually. And now Aether unable to chase this one. He's even going to tank a couple of tower shots and won't be able to get the kill on Nilla. Is going quite aggressive here still. Night Stalker could turn around and maybe chase him down with a Void. Not going to do so just yet. Just going to purchase something in the side shop as mid lane. Devin getting a little bit low now. Still has the salve though. And Solitas with no regen himself does have to be a little bit careful here. And Devin going to miss that CS, but it's 12 for 7 up against the 7 for 2 of Solitas. So doing pretty good in this mid lane. Most importantly, really denying that. There's the charge up. There's the Curse of the Silent as well. Splinter Blast, a long range Splinter Blast there. Filter, is he actually going to go down here? One more right click from Scrub. This shield blocking just enough damage. 15 HP. Is Filter actually going to be able to get out of this one? I don't believe so. Maybe he's going to turn around the crush. And now it looks like he will go down to the Silencer. Nyarla going to trade his life for that one, but Scrub at the very least going to steal 2 intelligence. Very important 2 intelligence for him to steal, but a 1-for-1 trade nevertheless now over here for Team Chunch. They're not going to be too happy with that one, but also definitely getting a little bit more out of that one than they probably should have. That shield proccing that one last right click from Scrub, and he's barely living at 15 HP, so almost getting out of that one. And if he would have gotten out, you would have just seen that shield pay off for itself tenfold. As Invis Rune now, Filter maybe could look to grab this and go for a gank in the mid lane. Is pinging it out. Maybe trying to save it over here for... Looks like we are going to have a gank in the mid lane. Night Stalker sitting pretty here. Razor with the illusion on the high ground. No ward up there though, so it doesn't really matter as... Looks like Solid is probably going to play a little bit safe. Invis will get picked up. They did see that. And it looks like Solid is just going to back up now. Look to Bottle Crow. Maybe going to return to the lane and go down. But Filter instead going to pop the sprint. Break the Invis and go back to his lane bottom. Going to be more confident with getting the EXP there. Scrub having a pretty good time here. 2 points into the curse, surprisingly enough. Usually we just see the last word as well as the max into the glaives. Get as much pure damage as you can here. And it'll be 2-1. 5 minutes in so far as Aether looking like he wants to go for a dive in the top lane. And yeah, it looks like Earthshaker's probably going to find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's nighttime as well, so it looks like he'll be able to just run under tower here. There it is. Is going to be able to get the fissure out. They're all getting quite low. Nilla, as it looks like, may be able to get a little bit more damage here. Not going to be able to get the kill. The heal coming over from Spooky Boogie, as it looks like the charge is coming up, but instead Nyarla going to look to soak up some EXP in the top lane. Can't look to get a kill as Glaive's bot lane from Scrub doing quite a bit of damage here. Looks like they'll just give it up though, as not going to be able to find that one. Phase Boots now picked up on the Spectre, and this is pretty scary here. It's going to be very difficult for the Earthshaker to just solo lane against the Spectre, and now they could start rotating around the Night Stalker as well as the Dazzle a little bit more. Night Stalker with that 2-0-1 build that we see fairly often. Sometimes we have seen the 1-1-1, and sometimes, you know, the silence is pretty good in the nighttime, but not going to be that effective. Maybe later on they're going to need it to gank Solitas here, but he's going to feel pretty safe as it is 2-2 now after that nice gank from the Dire. Mac 2 points into the Splinter Blast, level 4 here, so both teams finding some fairly solid levels on their supports, as now it looks like we might have another kill here. Nilla is going to look for the fissure, not going to get it though. The charge up on an Aether, and now Nyarla is in a whole lot of trouble. There's the static link, so Solitas jumping in though. There's the chains as well. Flame Guard doing quite a bit of damage. Fissure out to stop that, and it looks like Devin may now be in a little bit of trouble. Bottle up, they do have the chains in about 3 seconds. Should be able to get the kill. Nilla getting quite low, has to be a little bit careful, and there it is. The Arctic Burn as well, just to finish him off, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-for-0 trade. Nilla really baiting that one out, and now Solitas going to be happy with a double kill there. Does have his boots. Probably going to look for, I imagine, the Boots of Travel here. Going to go for the Aquila first before that. Get a little bit of early game stats as well as some nice mana regen. That'll be pretty useful here. Bot lane. Slardar getting quite low. And now, yeah, the Silencer himself can actually just kind of sit around bot lane alone and be quite confident against a solo Slardar here. It looks like... What's he grabbing on the courier? He's going to grab that Ring of Regen. Does have the Ring of Protection. No boots, though. So, top lane, meanwhile, it looks like Nilla may be in a little bit of trouble. Now, Nyarla going to go into Spooky Boogie. There's a Shallow Grave, keeping him alive a little bit longer. Should be able to get out of this one as the rest of the team following close by. Oh, that Orb of Venom, very close. I believe it does lethal damage now as there's the Void. Do they have enough mana? They don't have enough mana for the Dagger. Nyarla trying to run for his life, but he should go down here. There's the heal, though, from the Wyvern, keeping him alive a little bit longer, just making it so annoying now as Aether going to be the one to get the double kill there. The Void to secure it. And 4-4, so a very even early game here. Take a look at the net worth, as the Spectre is leading, but then the next two are both Radiant heroes. Pretty useless to look at the graphs early on, but it will be an earn for the Spectre, so it looks like he wants to fight Does go for the 3 points into the dagger, the urn, and probably going to be looking to just hunt into team fights with that urn and create as much havoc as possible. Maybe force the Winter Wyvern to throw down the Cold Embrace on herself, something like that, but certainly going to be interesting. As Aether looking to jungle up a little bit here, probably going to grab the urn, maybe for himself here, as he does have the Gauntlet of Strength. Perhaps just going to keep it for a little bit of stats early on. Solitas now coming back towards the mid lane, has the finish Tequila. As a bounty rune will be activated by Devin, going to be able to pick up another bounty there, as it's going to be an illusion in the bottom lane. And Filter with the double mango Ring of Regen build actually has a nice 5.3 HP regen, so going to be able to stick around in the lane a little bit longer with those pseudo tranquil boots. As top lane, Nilla not doing all that bad in terms of CS. He's actually 12 for 2. Surprisingly enough, the Slardar only 5 for 2 here, and he will rotate down towards the bottom lane alongside this Dazzle now, who does get found out. Mac is going to go up, use the Arctic Burn to fly over the trees here. There's the charge in on a Filter now, though, and it looks like Splinter Blast going to go out as well. They do have the Shallow Grave. Last word on a Filter. Got to be a little bit careful. Going to pop and do quite a bit of damage, but it shouldn't be enough. Spooky Boogie should be able to get away. There's the Curse going to go down as well. Actually, TV bottom from the Night Stalker. Heal from Boogie. Not going to be enough, though. And they won't have the damage to get the kill. And now Razor showing up from behind. Does have plenty of mana if he wants to bottle up, as well as the ultimate here. As Solitas is going to have to return home top lane. Looks like the Spectre getting a little bit aggressive here. Has the Haunt if they want to make a fight in this bot. And looks like they won't do so just yet. Scrub gonna get a bangle from Mac here, as Nyarla does have the amp damage on him, so does have to be careful. Negative 10 armor now. So annoying to deal with. As does have to be a little bit careful, but it looks like the Dire's gonna back off mid lane. Solitas gonna have a lot of his damage stolen. Gonna be annoying for him, as does go for the 1 point into Sleight of Fist here. Flame Guard doing some good work helping him CS. It's a much quieter game than the last one, I believe. The last one was a lot of early fighting, then they kind of slowed down around the mid-game, late-game. Team Chunch really able to take that one with their decision-making, as well as just with their draft overall. Global Silence now. Do you have 1,300 gold on the Silencer? If he does want to go for perhaps the Midas, try to push it into the late game, as they could certainly get the late game with the, the dual core Silencer, Ember Spirit, and then even the Earthshaker, pretty solid hero late game. Wyvern, of course, later on going to turn around a lot of the damage potential that the Dire has onto themselves. As now there's the chains, the silence up on Aether, though. Not going to be able to chase this one. Devin is going to throw out the static link. Solitas does have Remnant, and if he needs to use it to get away, not going to pop it just yet, as there it goes. Devin with a DD as well as 63 stolen damage. Very scary there. Does have to be careful of that potential kill. That's Nilla in the top lane. Does have the Echo Slam. Maybe going to wait for the second creep wave for the Echo and then the charge up. Don't have the Nether Strike just yet. Nor the charge, man. Is he actually stuck in the trees? He is. So Nyarla, not really where he wants to be. Probably just going to have to TP home here. Could look for a charge somewhere, but going to have to leave right after that anyways. As he will TP home. And pause out now. So what would this series be without another pause? We had quite a few last game. As question marks are going to be thrown out. And why does nobody say anything before pausing? Wrong button. Seems Chant Totem going to help Nilla secure a couple of CS there. And I think what's going to be important is really going to see how Razor's going to play this one out. I think if you want the mechanism, you really need the treads, just so you have that early mana pool potential with the intelligence tread switch. And he goes for the phase instead, which means he's probably going to be looking for something like the S and Y. Not going to be all that bad. It does mean they'll have a lot of early Roshan potential, and we'll hold that thought for a second as Filter getting quite low in the bottom. But yeah, as we were saying, they do have the early Roshan potential with the phase boots, as well as maybe the Yasha by that time on top of Devin. So you just, whoa, top lane, they managed to get a kill here. Nilla does use the Echo Slam, and that's what I was talking about a little bit earlier. The Echo Slam fissure into the charge. They will get that. Still no Nether Strike on Nyarla just yet, but they managed to kill the Spectre, which is very important, as Scrub himself has not died just yet. But yeah, as I was saying again, that Roshan potential they've got on the Dire, they just need to take one fight. And sure, these heroes are still not going to have long death spawn timers, but when you have that amp damage, that negative 10 armor on Roshan, and you have, that nice bit of bonus damage from the Phase Yasha on Razor, and you've got the heals from the Dazzle, you can certainly get an earlier Roshan than a lot of teams would expect here, as you're going to have a TP top from the Dazzle. Spectre hasn't really thought about where she's going to go just yet. We'll go top now, as Looks like Solida's going to rotate top as well here. Does go for the treads here, so probably going to go for the treads drums. There it is. Is going to go in chains. Flame Guard not going to be used just yet. On cooldown for another 5 seconds. Silence going to be used up on Nilla. There's the global to turn it around, but Solida's in a whole lot of trouble right now. Nilla actually getting low as well. There's the haunt, and look at this, or excuse me. Look at the Razor just run in, doing so much damage. Nilla going to go down. Looks like Mac going to have the same fate, and they're going to take a 3-for-0 trade on the back of that one. They try to go in on Aether, but with the strength treads, he's just so hard to kill. Spooky Boogie even behind him on that one, and going to be able to keep him alive a little bit longer. So a nice little trade from the Dire there after they lose a few heroes, most notably the Spectre in the top lane. They managed to turn it around, and now the Spectre getting some earn charges here. Bot lane, we see the Slardar, as well as Scrub, just kind of going 1-for-1 with CS here. Will throw out the amp damage. Just going to go in on Scrub, and look at that. A lot of damage from the level 4 Crush. Now Scrub looking to turn this one around. Has a lot of damage of his own. Solidas is going to rotate in on this one. Chains will latch off the Sleight of Fist, and he will get the 2 intelligence off that one. So only 4 int at about 13 minutes as Night Stalker will rotate bottom. Marla with strength treads of his own. Actually, both supports being fairly tanky over here on each team, as looks like now Night Stalker going to look for the dive on a Scrub, going to be able to stay alive a little bit longer, as Scrub looks like he is going to go for the Shadow Blade. Can he actually live here? Maybe. There's the heal from the Wyvern. They're going to turn this one around. No, Aether's going to be able to get that one with the level 3 Void. Will trade for his life, but I'm sure he'll be quite happy with that one, although he did have a dominating that he will give up to the Wyvern. Some much needed gold there to start working on the wards into the Glimmer Cape here. Is they do kind of have 2 position 4 heroes. Wyvern kind of a position 5, but you gotta get all these items. You've got to get the mech, you've got to get the Glimmer. You know, Nyarla, not really a mech hero. Shallow mana pool, charging in on his own quite often, maybe trying to trade his life for somebody else's. As now it looks like Solidas maybe in a little bit of trouble. Will take an amp damage and should know that there's a ward there now, as he wasn't really near him. As we will get a medallion pickup now from the Night Stalker. So this is definitely a lot of Roshan potential. And if they don't look to get Rosh off a couple kills here, I certainly think they're wasting a big portion of their potential here. Even last game we saw both teams kind of ignore Roshan, and very odd, since you never really realize how fast you can take that hero with amp damage, medallion. You know, Spectre even doing quite a bit of damage with phase boots of her own. And top lane, it looks like they may go on to Scrub here. He's in a whole lot of trouble. Not going to get amp damage just yet. They don't really have too much chase. No Blink Dagger just yet, as Devin is going to turn around, throw out the Plasma Field. And now Mac's going to TP in here. Courier will bring now the Sange over here to Devin. So it will be the S&Y build for him. As mid lane, Fish out. Solidas is going to jump in on this one. Spooky Boogie does have the Grave. Will be able to get it off, but does it even matter? As it looks like General Manager going to go down, tries to throw out the dagger and get away, but won't be able to do so. As there's the Nether Strike now going to be used on Spooky Boogie. He's going to go down here as well. Couple nice pickoffs here as the Spectre not going to be able to stay alive there. Solidas is going to try to stick around a little bit longer as Filter. Not going to be able to get the crush off. There's the Winter's Curse now on a Filter. Devin sticking around as well. Going to be right-clicking his teammate there, whether he wants to or not, as the Wyvern going to try and zip away after this one here. Doesn't have the Arctic Burn, and it looks like they will continue the chase. Just getting Arctic Burn now. Plasma Field going to be thrown out here. Mac now going to get amp damage. They won't be able to keep that static link up, and now Mac should be able to get out of this one, as he will. Actually, maybe try to stay alive a little bit longer under tower. There's the charge up, and now they may have baited this one. Last word going to be used on Devin. They really need to try and kill him. Blink Dagger on Nilla, and is he going to be able to blink up and get a kill here? They are trying to look for the kill. There's the stun from Filter. Going to prevent a little bit of that, as Night Stalker will throw out the ultimate as well. Dazzle's going to show up. Nilla's going to blink up. Haunt is going to go down as well. Maybe now they're turning this one around. The jaunt up onto Nilla, and now he's going to go down here. Nyarla going to pay for his life as well, and now Mac going to try and throw the heal out. Solidas is going to jump in. There's the Sleight of Fist. He's going to be able to get one kill. Filter getting a little bit low here as well. Has to back out. He will eat the last word, and now Solidas getting slowed down quite a bit here. The Void going to keep him down a little bit longer. Filter, though, getting low. He's probably going to die here. No, the Shallow Grave keeping him alive a little bit longer. Solidas thinking about going back in, but the Void, it's going to be enough to get the kill. The Silencer turning this one around. Is he actually going to die under tower? Yes. It looks like the Night Stalker will go down, but maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to get the kill on the Scrub. Filter rushing in. Has to be a little bit careful. Crush will hit, though, and it's going to be a 5-for-2 trade over here for Team Chunch. Really min-maxing that fight well. They do lose a core to support, but a very, very nice fight from them. Charge is going to be used on a filter, but we don't actually have the Grave for 15 seconds. Maybe they'll be able to turn this one around. We've got the Blink up, the Fissure as well, and it looks like the Earthshaker with the TP in. Are they going to be able to turn this around? No, there's the Urn. Nyarla actually going to go in off of this one. Crush, is it going to come out? No. Echo Slam, General Manager now in trouble. Are you kidding me? They're going to get these kills. Razor's going to rotate in, and maybe, just maybe, they'll have the damage. Mac turning that one around. Does throw the Splinter Blast, and actually eat a little bit there from the current, but that's going to be about it. As managed to find 2 there. So Nilla with a nice Echo Slam to charge in. I really thought they would have enough HP. So Solitas in the mid lane now. Going to throw out the Searing Chains. Sleight of Fist. Aether, though, quite tanky as well with that Medallion. Strength Treads. He just has so much armor. And Solitas doesn't go for the max onto Searing Chains. Surprisingly enough, going to go for that early point in the Sleight of Fist, and won't be going for the drums, just going to be looking to rush that Battle Fury. His bot lane Scrub still trying to work on the Shadow Blade of his own, and he's got to be a little bit careful. He's getting chased down by Filter now. Will use the Global Silence in order to get out, turn around, throw out a Curse of his own, but a lot of heroes bot lane for the Dire. Going to be looking to pressure this mid tier 1, or excuse me, this bot tier 1 from the Radiant tier, and maybe try to constrict their jungle a little bit, as it looks like Aether with a haster, and he's ready to dive this one. TPs are coming in, but is it going to be a little bit too late? Filter wanting to turn this one around. Not going to go for the Arctic Burn. Is going to get crushed up immediately, though. And that should be the end of that gank from both sides there, as it looks like maybe the charge in. Not going to be enough just yet. They do have the drums as well on Nyarla. Probably going to give that one up. Crush from Filter. Going to be off point. And now it looks like he's thinking about the Nether Strike. Not going to use it. And it seems like now the Radiant have rotated for mid lane. Solitas is here holding on to Devin, Wargod, and Spooky Boogie. And now it looks like the Dire are ready to give up this bot tower. They still have quite a bit of mana on the Slardar after chewing through a couple of mangoes here. Spectre looks like he's going to go for the Radiance. Actually picking up the recipe here and even using it in his inventory. Probably should just leave that in the courier or in his stash. Just try to keep them guessing, as they will rotate a lot of Dire heroes down here now. Maybe you're going to try to look for a kill. I don't believe they'll be able to get anything, though, as Razor just running up here. Still has the Phase Boot Sage, so quite a bit of move speed. Has to be careful going in without anybody else here. Is Nyarla maybe going to get caught out? Do they have any catch? It looks like no, and that seems to be one of the things that the Dire is really kind of, they surprisingly enough, unless it's nighttime or until Slardar gets a blink, they really don't have too much catch in order to grab some of these heroes that are a little bit farther away. Devin, of course, doesn't have the S and Y. He's going to have to hope for the proc from the Sage to try and slow somebody down. Poison Touch, not really there for catch, as you really only put the 1 point into it maybe to help slow somebody down, but that's about it. As top lane, we will have General Manager TP in to try and harass Solitas out of the lane, who almost finishes up his Battle Fury here. Now, the Dire will smoke up and begin to rotate towards this mid tower. Is nobody really around here? Back in this bot lane, Scrub with his Shadow Blade. Got to be a little bit careful. They're really, really deep now on the side of the Dire here, looking for somebody, anybody, as the smoke will wear off. Devin does get pinged out now from the Earthshaker as well here. That tower's solo, 13 HP will go down. Charge going off in the top lane, and it looks like they are going to try and kill General Manager. There's the Echo Slam, the Blink, the Enchant Totem. He's going to go down, as they won't have Spirit Breaker there. TP was cancelled, and now it looks like maybe the Dire just going to look to pressure out mid tier 2 while the Radiant takes their tier 1. Probably not going to try to defend it just yet, as some funky lines going on here because of the Ember Spirit. Kind of cool, never really noticed that. Nice little bit of animation that they decided to put in there. TP in from Mac now, is don't really want to give up too much damage on this tier 2. Splinter Blast going to go out, but not really going to hit anything, as actually only has 2 points in a Splinter Blast, 4 points in a Cold Embrace. I think that's definitely unnecessary. Certainly want to get the max on a Splinter Blast there, or else you're really damage limited, as you don't really have much. And now top lane, Filter going to go into Nyarla. Both heroes quite fast, though, as it looks like he is going to go for the charge out. Night Stalker Void will be able to cancel it, though, and it looks like he's almost certainly going to go down, even using the Haunt for that one, despite the fact that I really didn't think they needed to. And Aether's going to be the one getting that kill, so he's actually 6 for 3, doing a really good job on this Night Stalker. Maybe going to go for the Midas here, perhaps just going to see Buckler going to be the, looks like it will be mech for Spooky Boogie. Probably going to go for the Guardian Greaves, but not going to go for the Midas on the Night Stalker here. Maybe going to go for the Solar Crest. Could still jump into the Midas. It is going to be late, but certainly going to be helpful. You're going to be able to rotate into this late game quite well. And Battle Fury now finished up for Solitas, so he's not doing too bad nonetheless. He does have 21 22-minute Battle Fury tread. So certainly not the best, not the worst either. Does have 2 deaths to his name. 6 kills and 3 assists though. Really going to help him out with that one, as he will jump back to this mid lane here. Now Devin going to get chainsed up. Sleight of Fist now starting to do quite a bit of damage. Spot lane, Nilla going to get TP'd on, but he will be able to get out of that one. Some nice farm now for General Manager, who's desperately trying to finish up that Radiance, and when he does, it's going to get quite scary. Another Sleight of Fist here in chains. Looks like he will latch that one on a Devin this time. And now Filter, he is going to actually get the jump over there from that Frost Blast, and looks like now the charge is going to be used over there. There's the Echo Slam yet again. Enchant Totem. General Manager going to go down. Global Silence. Not going to be able to use the Shallow Grave there. That's very important. As in the backside, the Razor almost going down there as well. Looks like he'll be able to get away. This bot lane. They are going to use the Weave. Only going to hit on one. Searing Shade. Sleight of Fist going to hit onto the creeps, though, surprisingly enough. Night Stalker looking to frontline this, as nobody really around him. Does have to be a little bit careful here. Solitas now with about 470 gold. Nyarla going to be looking for a medallion of his own there. So now they've got to be a little bit careful. Solitas, the crush going to be way off mark. And now they do have the silence. Charge up on an Aether. Is he going to just run in? Looks like he's still going to do so. They do have the amp damage. There's the blink looking for the crush. Not going to be able to get it though, as they will be able to get out. Fisher even going to buy them some time, as Nilla does have the blink up. Will be able to create a little bit of space for his team. Nyarla getting slowed by that SNY now, though, and he's got to be careful. Crush yet again off mark from Filter. Hunt going to be used, and it looks like the Winter's Curse going to be used as well, as Aether is going to go on to Solitas, and he is going to get Winter's, or excuse me, Cold Embrace, and he's going to be alive a little bit longer. Spiritbreaker going to go down. Scrub as well now going to be the target. Going to throw out the Winter's Curse, and or excuse me, the Curse of the Silences. There's the blink. Nilla going to be crushed out again here. I imagine 3 seconds until that's off cooldown, and almost certainly going to go down here. Does throw out one more fissure before he dies, but it's going to be a 4-for-0 trade and a triple kill out here for Devin Wargod, as it looks like they'll be able to grab this tower, as well as they should probably just look to go for a Roshan after this. They're going to have to push out their lanes once they're back up, and probably won't be able to prevent it if they just run for it right now. They really could go for it here, but it looks like nobody really going for Roche. As they will grab themselves a nice double stack worth of creeps here. General Manager going to grab quite a few of those. Only needs about 800 more gold. New Spooky Boogie going to steal a CS there. Only needs about 800, 700 more gold before he does have the full Radiance now. Should have it around the 26-minute mark if he's farming properly. Now a lot of Radiant heroes are on this mid lane. Dire though, gonna maybe look for the Blink Crush here. Looks like they will be able to get it as well, and the Solitas got to be a little bit careful. Fissure out, keeping him alive a little bit longer. There's the Echo Slam now as well. Spooky Boogie. Shallow Grave will be used. Global Silence a little bit late on that one, but there's the Nether Strike now going to be used on the Spooky Boogie. Does use the mechanism as well. Solitas going to use the chains. Aether just so tanky right now, looking to chase down Solitas. Should be able to get the kill. Fissure though, stunning him up, and Enchant Totem is going to go down here as well, as it looks like Nyarla on the backside going to keep Spooky Boogie as Devin Wargod as well. Going to be able to get kept out of that fight from Nilla there, and buying his team quite a bit of space so they can kill the Night Stalker. So a nice 2-for-0 trade here, and I think it's about time we start to take a look at the graphs, as Team Chunch, they are quite far ahead in terms of net worth. Probably going to jump up a little bit after that, but 4,000 net worth, 2,400 EXP. They're certainly ahead this game, and it's not by too much. They certainly have this comeback mechanism of the Ember Spirit, really good at farming, but General Manager this entire time is just getting closer and closer to his Radiance, and that's when things start to get a little bit scarier for these supports. They do have the Glimmer Cape for the Wyvern, but doesn't have the mana boots, so it doesn't really have all that much mana to, you know, throw out a couple Splinter Blasts or a couple Cold Embraces for the next team fight, and that's going to be a big issue for them, as you know, the Spirit Breaker's had some nice space to grab a few items himself, but at what cost? They really don't have anything on the Wyvern, and that's a huge issue right now, even missing out on some very important CS in the mid lane, and these are the things you need to get in order to keep up your efficiency, especially as a 4 or 5 position support, whatever it may be. You need to get every single CS that you can, and instead he'll end up throwing up quite a bit there, as it looks like we do have a DD on Solitas. Going to look for the Sleight of Fist in the mid lane, doing quite a bit of damage. Filter getting, it looked like he almost had a crit there, but just the pure damage there, or the pure damage from the Sleight of Fist, not the pure damage. Worded that one a little bit odd there. Another Sleight of Fist going to go out, and he's just going to jump back there as Filter looks for the crush, but doesn't really matter. Spooky Boogie going to be able to heal him up anyways, and getting fairly close to his Greaves, needing about 1,000 gold. If we take a look at, the entirety of the Radiant here. Getting their items as well. Nilla with the Force Staff. It looks like it will be the full Silver Edge going to be grabbed up over here for the Silencer. Global Silence off cooldown in 3 seconds. They're going to try to wait for that one. Mac can turn around with the Winter's Curse. It looks like he's going to go down beforehand though. And now we've got the Echo Slam Global Silence. Are we going to see a huge play now? Dire may feel comfortable without the Wyvern, but they have to be careful. It looks like they want to take this. Solidus coming up now as well. Waiting for the creep wave a little bit longer here. Searing Chain, Sleight of Fist, charge up. There's the Blink Echo Slam, and look at that. Fissure going to be thrown down, going to lay down 2. There's the Global Silence to haunt up, but he can't jaunt in. He's silenced up. It looks like the Illusions are going to go down, and now they've got no Spectre. They take 3, and it looks like they should be able to take 4. Maybe not. Devin just so incredibly quick here, and Solidus not going to be able to chase him down, but a nice team fight there. They managed to get a couple. Nil even going to blink in. Enchant Totem. Fissure. Another Enchant Totem. Going to stun him up yet again. Now General Manager is going to be able to get out of this one. He's quite fast himself here. Force Staff. Another Enchant Totem off cooldown in a few seconds here, but it looks like Nyarla with the charge up should be enough stun to help him out here, and it looks like they will get a kill. So across the board, they managed to get 4 heroes. Almost 5 there, but they managed to get 4 heroes, and absolutely fantastic play there from the Electric Panthers. Team Chunch felt very confident now that the Wyvern was down, but realistically, the Echo Slam just did so much work. TP's in the mid lane from the Night Stalker. Got to be careful. Has the Solar Crest point booster, but could still go down to Scrub as well as Solidus here, and Scrub does have the completed Silver Edge, and that's going to be pretty important. Going to be able to disable the passive on the Spectre, the Razor as well, maybe the Bash over here on the Slardar. Night Stalker going to lose, some of his Hunter in the Night bonuses as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how important it is in some of these team fights. And it does have like 225, I think, damage when you attack with it. 225 bonus attack damage is certainly quite a bit, as the Dire may be expecting the Radiant to be at Roshan. They aren't though. They do have this nice deep ward around the mid lane, and 21 to 19, 29 minutes in, and fairly exciting game. Pretty back and forth, it seems, team fight after team fight. Solidus in the mid lane, Searing Chain, Sleight of Fist. Combo going to be used over there on a General Manager. Charge up going to be used as well, quite far from his team, and he might actually go down here. Look at that damage. The Silver Edge just doing so much work, and is this actually TP going to be completed? No. Solidus was pinging it out, looked like, and will cancel that one. As Filter jumping in on this one, the Crush, the Deny, not going to be used just yet. There's the Winter's Curse, though. Aether's in a lot of trouble, but look at Solidus. He's quite scared now. They're going to turn tail and run. Nilla does have Echo Slam in about 3 seconds. He's trying to hold on to it. He could just turn around, blink Echo, and there it is. Nilla gets the Echo on a 4 hero. Solidus turns around. He's actually going to get crushed. Is he going to go down here? There's the charge up. Filter's going to go down. Nilla with the Enchant Totem, and this guy has been the absolute MVP this game. Even has another Fissure. Devin Wargod probably going to go down here. Blink Enchant Totem. An unstoppable triple kill for Nilla. Somebody give this guy a medal. He has come up absolutely huge for his team this game and last game. This guy, what a freaking player. Absolutely fantastic team fight. Just barely staying on the edge right around here. Just really didn't want to get into the fight. Trying to hold off as long as he could. Waiting for them to group up. Turns around, Fisher's out. Echo Slam comes off cooldown. Blinks in right in the center, and yeah, it certainly wasn't, the hardest, the highest skills of plays, but, keeping on the edge of that team fight was really important there. And I do want to say, though, it was kind of an issue with that Spectre actually jumping in there without the rest of her team. Does actually go down, and right when she gets her Radiance, and the first, 5 to 10 minutes after that Radiance are some of the most crucial, as, yeah, it's a damage item, but most importantly, it's a farm accelerator, and if you just end up wasting a majority of the, the first 5 to 10 minutes, it really loses a lot of its effectiveness. So unfortunately the Spectre will go down, and just like that, look at this jump. Looks like about 43, maybe 5,000 net worth. Gonna go right back in favor of the Electric Panthers. EXP looking somewhere around 7,000, 6,000 about as well. And now Scrub's going to go in the mid lane. They've even got the Global Silence, and General Manager in trouble yet again. Scrub is going to use the Global, but they get that off. And he's not going to be able to get the kill. A little bit of a misplay there, as it looks like Nyarla not ready to give this one up just yet. There's the Mechanism. There's the Solar Crest as well, though. Now General Manager, the mischance, not going to be enough to keep him alive. Devin Wargod in a little bit of trouble. Looks like Scrub might be trading his life for this one, though, as the Solar Crest will kill him. They are going to turn this one around. Fissure yet again. Nilla, 10 seconds on the Echo Slam. Are they going to be ready for this? Are they even going to maybe look to go in on this one, as Solidus kind of cut off from his team? Not going to use the Echo just yet. They do have the Winter's Curse as well. Could have a nice bit of combo there. Solida's going to TP home. As the Dire looks like they're paying out for Roshan. They know that they need it. And it's so incredibly important that they don't just lose another fight. As that could be essentially the game. They will pop it. And yeah, look at that. Roshan. No armor anymore. Even with that nerf to Solar Crescent Medallion on Roshan. Still reducing his armor by an absolute ton. And Aegis most likely. Looks like they might actually want to give it to Aether here. So nobody's dropping anything just yet. It's Devin Wargod. Looks like he will go for the drop there and filter. Looks like you missed your TP there, buddy. Aether pinging him out a little bit. TP scroll going to be dropped there. And the Radiant was maybe thinking about contesting it, but they won't do so. As Nilla actually getting chased down now from Devin Wargod. 4-staff out. They've got to be careful. Devin very far ahead right now. And he will just back out. Mid lane. Looks like they do want to defend at this tier 2 tower. Aghanim Scepter going to be the next item for our Earthshaker. So they do have quite a bit of lane push. Bot lane actually pushing in a bit. So Solis probably should be looking to take that. Goes for a BKB, and I can't say I'm comfortable with that. As you never really want a BKB on Ember Spirit. He's not a hero that should be just in the middle of a fight ever soaking up damage or anything like that, as it looks like. Look at that damage, actually. Solidas is going to have to pop his BKB soon if he wants to get out of this fight, and it looks like maybe Filter getting quite low. They are going to use the Winter's Curse on a Devin Wargod. Jump back now, hunt up on a Nilla, and it looks like General Manager has really recognized what's the strength of this team. It's Nilla with his Echo Slams. He's going to prevent that from happening, but meanwhile on the backside, Solidas going to be able to pop the Aegis now. They maybe could turn this one around. General Manager doing quite a bit of damage, but there's still quite a few heroes here. Looks like there's the charge up on a General Manager. Nilla with the Echo Slam able to secure one kill. Solida's going to be able to TP out of this one. And now it looks like Nyarla going to get slowed up here as the Fissure going to prevent him from getting killed. Maybe Aether's chasing this one, but just look at how fast both heroes are. It's a 2-for-3 trade despite the fact that the Dire had the Aegis, and this is starting to get worse and worse for Team Chunch. Are we going to be looking at a game 3 here? As they're starting to fall behind. More importantly, though, Solidas hasn't been dying, and once he finally does get that crit stick, it's going to be very dangerous for the Dire to push into anything. They just have so much AoE damage. So now Nilla looking for the Mystic Staff, so he's actually going for an Octarine Core here, and he has it. Just needs to disassemble his Mana Boots, which he doesn't really need all that much anymore. Charge going to go out on a Devin Wargod. As there is an Ancient stack here, they will cancel it. Just look to back up after that. As Nilla going to return home, use his Mana Boots one more time before he disassembles them to complete his Octarine Core. And now Echo Slam going to be on a very, very short cooldown. Nilla looking to probably sell his Stout Shield and then grab his boots, as they are just dropped in base there. Do get pinged out by Scrub, but I'm sure Nilla's very aware of that. Can't really forget where you dropped your boots. AC now picked up on our Razor, who does look like he wants to get a little bit aggressive on Solidas. We'll just jump back out, though. And he'll be quite alright. Now Nilla, 20 seconds left on the Echo Slam. And it feels like Echo Slam's been off cooldown for essentially the entirety of this match. Spectre going to be looking to farm up, finish up a Heart next. Probably would have preferred the... I think, honestly, the Diffusal. Once you see there's no Mana Boots onto Mac, I think you probably go Diffusal, as it's going to be a pretty huge issue here for him. And I think being able to take him out of the fight, helping to burn through some of the mana on... Well, I mean, Nilla's got the Octarine Core now, so he's got a massive mana pool, but I think the Diffusal certainly wouldn't be a bad idea whatsoever there. As well as you can maybe purge off the Silver Edge debuff on whoever it's on. Get rid of that, but instead I'll go for the Heart. I don't mind that. I think Scotty's better than Heart in general, unless they're looking for... I mean, it is fairly tough to siege because of Fissure and Splinter Blast, so Heart might be pretty good for the siege usage. But I think Diffusal probably would have been a little bit better. You just Diffusal up, or you Haunt up. Diffusal's going to start burning mana onto Mac. If you want to Haunt in onto him, you can. If you want to Haunt in onto Nilla, you certainly can do so as well. As the entirety of the Dire, not the entirety, but 3 heroes sticking around bot lane. But Solidas does have a Spirit out, or a Remnant out, excuse me, and we'll be able to get away. Looking to do this nice Ancient stack here now as well. Sleight of Fist going to be pretty helpful in that one. Waiting for the cooldown for it yet again. We'll get himself a nice bit of CS here. And working closer and closer to that Daedalus now, which I imagine will be the next item, as both teams just going to be content with farming up, although I don't really think that's what the Radiant wants to be doing. The Electric Panthers should start really pressuring out this map, try to get a little bit more vision themselves, try to just get more map vision, a little bit more control, maybe take this bot tier 1, because realistically, Roshan's going to be the next target for both teams. Who's ever able to get that is most likely going to be the victor of this game, as just one lost team fight usually means the end of it, because teams don't really consider saving too much. And it looks like it will be Yasha now for general manager, so he's going to look for the Manta in order to get off that global silence to help out with these haunt ins. As we did see last team fight, he tried to haunt in, global was popped immediately, and just like that, he's unable to jump in. And that's actually a pretty huge issue, because Spectre, you really rely on being able to jump in on a team fight. So surprisingly enough, nobody's going to smoke up just yet. Roshan going to be up in another few minutes, so perhaps going to wait a few more minutes before they look to get a couple smoke ganks, but they have so many smokes in stock that they should just be purchasing them all up. Try to hit this nice peak where you get a few smoke kills, and now it looks like Solitas was the intended target for that Night Stalker, popping the darkness, looking for the kill, but they won't be able to get it, and you can see why. Solitas is just playing so smart with these remnants, just in and out, in and out. And of course, that's the Ember Spirit Dota that you want to play anyways. 3.8k now on him, very, very close to the data list now. As Aether with the Aghanim Scepter, doing a really good job here. We're going to take a look at the net worth real quick, as we do see Solitas topping up that chart. 15.5, not too far off though is Devin at 14.2, so only about 1,000 net worth. Meanwhile, a little bit lower is the Spectre at about 12,000, and the Earthshaker doing really good himself. Surprisingly enough, now Arla higher than the Night Stalker in terms of net worth. He's actually got an Eggs of his own, so almost mirroring the items of this Night Stalker. Aside from the drums, he's doing fairly well on his own. So he's actually got an Aghanim Scepter. Not too bad. I think a Blade Mail probably would have been a better option here. Try to reflect a lot of the damage that the Spectre's doing, as well as a lot of the damage that the Slardar and the Razor are doing. I think it's a little bit underestimated, especially after you've got that Solar Crest. You can reflect a lot more damage. You're a lot tankier. It's a little bit more useful. And then from there, maybe look for something like the Vlads to help bolster your team's damage and armor. And it looks like Dire getting quite aggressive. They do have the Haunt in yet again, but they've got to be careful, as they may not be able to get it off. Solitas with a DD bottled now here as well. And is going to be looking for the 40-minute rune. Doesn't really want to get rid of that DD. He should really look to fight with a DD. You don't really estimate how strong a DD actually is, as he will get rid of that Aquila and look to get very, very close to finishing up his data list now. Going to be his next big item, but the issue I see with this is he should have gone for the crit. The Demon Edge isn't bad for flat damage. The crit's more important though, as the cleave crits are kind of why you play Ember Spirit, because he really shouldn't finish it off within the next... Well, he shouldn't finish it off unless he's certain he's got buyback, because if he goes down and the Dire's able to take Roshan off of that, it's almost certainly going to be good game, as they definitely have enough to push in. Nilla getting quite close now to our Razor player, and we'll throw out the Fissure. Few heroes here, but they'll just pop the Darkness and back up after that. Won't be able to chase down that Razor. He was close to his tier 2 as well, so TP rotations did come in. It was probably better that the Dire didn't chase that one, but they did manage to bait out the Darkness, and Roshan going to be up in about a minute. So a very short respawn timer. Going to be looking for a Roshan on both teams now, as we'll be up quite soon. Weave is going to be used to gain a little bit of vision there, as now the full Manta going to be completed here from the Spectre. So both teams perhaps going to find themselves in the same kind of situation, where if the Spectre goes down and they lose a Roshan because of it, they could lose this game as well. As DD doing quite a bit of damage with the Sleight of Fist here. He will just jump back there. And now everybody's got to be very careful here. Coming up to the tense moments in this game. Dire looking for the static link on the Spirit Breaker. Won't get it. And now he's going to get glimmered up and try to find a few heroes on the Dire here. Looks for the charge onto the Slardar. Won't be able to get it though, as they should continue to fight. They really need to fight while this Global Silence is still useful. It's getting less and less useful. Narla in a whole lot of trouble. There it is. Global Silence going to be used. Haunt, and he won't be able to hunt into the fight, but it doesn't matter. Narla's going to go down. They've even managed to waste the Winter's Curse, and now Scrub's in a lot of trouble, and this is a disaster for the Radiant. They're going to continue the chase, as it looks like Nilla in a big bit of trouble himself, and it looks like they'll be able to get the kill on the Wyvern. There's the Fissure out, trying to buy them a little bit more space, but it doesn't matter. They have 50 seconds without the silencer, 50 seconds without the Spirit Breaker. Only 36 without the Wyvern, but they're going to lose Roshan. They're going to lose the Aegis. With that, I imagine they're going to be able to take either bot or mid racks, whichever one they want to go for, and this is going to be a huge issue for the Radiant. Solitas even finishing up the Daedalus, and if he goes down during this next base defense, that's certainly going to be it. And now the Electric Panthers, they were ahead, and now they're just barely trying to hold on. So Team Chunch taking this one in their favor yet again. And for those of you who may not know, this is the second time Team Chunch, I believe the second time, might be more actually, but this is the second time I've at least been asked to cast Team Chunch versus the Electric Panthers. Both times have been pretty fun. Unfortunately, one of the VODs for Game 2, the last time I casted, did get messed up, and I deleted the VOD afterwards, I believe, so won't be able to see the second game. We'll be able to see the first game of the first series I casted if you do want to check that one out, but it's been a pretty good series overall. They're quite evenly matched. I think Team Chunch may be a little bit stronger than the Electric Panthers, but both teams fairly strong. Probably, I think it comes down to the supports of Team Chunch being a little bit better than the Electric Panthers. Right now, Winter Wyvern, Mac is just, playing this roll 6, roll 7 support. He's just so farm-starved. Meanwhile, Dazzle's got the Greaves. He's keeping up with wards. He's got 1,000 gold, a wand. We've even got the Night Stalker looking for an Octarine core next up for himself, and just going to be really limiting the vision of the Radiant here, and especially when you play somebody like an Ember Spirit that's so reliant on wards and not getting caught out without your Remnant, something like that. It's very important that you have vision, and unfortunately Night Stalker going to take a lot of that away from you, the Dire. Looks like maybe they're getting ready to go on the Radiant here. The Razor is rotating along with the Dazzle. As 43 minutes in, we've managed to find ourselves with 57 kills, and usually it's quite a bit more that we see, but this game just been back and forth in these team fights. One team wipes 3, the other team wipes 4, one team wipes 5, the other team wipes 4. Just very back and forth so far, and it looks like, though, Team Chunch kind of hitting their peak where they're really getting strong here. Of course, the Spectre just becoming a bigger and a bigger threat here. Searing Chain, Sleight of Fist going to be thrown out. Spooky Boogie may be forced to use a Shallow Grave, so Solitas got to be careful again. Doesn't have buyback for another 1,200 gold, which is quite a bit. He's got to be careful. As there it is. They do look for the amp damage. Won't be able to get it, though. Filter going to try and secure some CS in the mid lane. As it seems like all quiet on the western front now. Night Stalker just going to look to farm. Maybe wanting to finish up his Octarine, but they've got Scotty now on Razor as well, and that's probably going to be the ticket. They've got the Aegis, they've got Scotty. Spectre has buyback, Haunt in if she needs it. She's got 3.3k, could look to finish up the Heart very soon if she wants to, but I think they just push in now, and the Electric Panther's going to look to smoke up now. Aether maybe in a bit of trouble. Devil Wargod actually charges. Is going to go out on a Filter who does have the blink away. Global Silence going to be used right immediately during Haunt as Night Stalker going to use the DD. They're looking to turn this one around. Haunt's going to be used up, and it looks like now the Fish are going to try to buy them some space, but maybe it's a little bit too late. Now Arlo getting so low already. He's almost certainly going to go down. Yes, he will. Solitas able to find the Night Stalker on the backside. The Winter's Current's going to be thrown on a Devon Wargod, but he's just so tanky. He's even got the Aegis. Solitas jumping right in. He's got no buyback. He's barely able to jaunt out of that one with the Remnant, as it looks like now Nilla, he's not even able to get off his Echo Slam. Force Staff not off the cliff. He's going to go down. Nilla going to trade his life for this one. Does have the buyback, but that's it. It seems like we're going to be at game point. He's going to buy back, but without Solitas, it really feels like game, set, and match, as it is a best of 3, and Team Chunch, although it doesn't show it here, they did take game 1, and it looks like they're about to take game 2 here. So some great play from them. Devon going to continue to post up over here onto the Earthshaker now, who does have the Echo Slam. Maybe going to wait for the creep wave. Has to be careful. His Blink Dagger is getting cancelled here. Doesn't really want to screw up any. So it looks like he is going to go in for it. There's the Force Tap, the Echo Slam, but they're all just so tanky now. It doesn't even matter. General Manager may go down. There's the Grave, keeping him alive a little bit longer. Filter's going to blink in, able to get the kill on the Earthshaker. Scrub's going to go down as well. Does have buyback of its own, but 40 seconds still without Solitas, and it seems like we're about to hit the one of 2 Raxes that they should be able to clear through. And after that, I imagine the Electric Panther is going to call GG. Spectre even managing to finish up the Heart, so just going to be able to regen through all that HP that she just lost, and now they've got absolutely no damage. I mean, even when Solitas is up, they've got no Winter's Curse or they will have Winter's Curse, but they've got no Echo Slam. They won't have Global for another 10 seconds. They've got the Nether Strike, but at this point, the Spirit Breaker's not doing much. His damage is very negligible. They all just have raw stats. They're just tanky, and 47 minutes now. Aegis will be reclaimed, and they won't have the Aegis, but that's going to be about it. Top Rack still alive. Maybe they're going to go for one last hurrah here. Just feels like the Dire so far ahead. 20,000 net worth. Look at that graph. Absolutely jump. 15,000, 16,000 EXP as well, and it really feels like it's Team Chunch's game to lose now. As they do have 2.1k on Solitas here. Just very close to buy back that last fight. Only about 100 and so off. Maybe somewhere closer to 200. But his farming now is going to be limited by about 2/3. Not 2/3 exactly, I guess. But it's certainly going to be limited after they do lose 2 sets of racks. Night Stalker now with the completed Octarine, I believe, yes, and it's nighttime all the time. Every 60 seconds able to pop Darkness, and I believe it's only like 20 seconds uptime on Darkness. As it lasts 50 seconds, 10 seconds, there you go. So it's only daytime for 10 seconds, makes it nearly impossible. Now Matt in a whole lot of trouble, going to get caught up by the Night Stalker. He will just back up. Solitas in the mid lane could be the next target, as they are all very close, and Solitas, he doesn't actually have a remnant. He's just going to die right now. And that's probably going to be GG. Haunt's going to be used now. Ember Spirit, Solitas going to buy back. Actually going to jump back in, try and save Nyarla, but he's going to go down. And they did see Solitas jump back in. Double kill now for the Spectre, as he's able to kill the Wyvern in the backside there. And when you've only got Brown Boots, Glimmer Cape, you're an easy pick off here. As Solitas does get the chains up. Now BKB on a filter if he wants to pop it. Won't do so. Just going to TP towards the mid lane, as it seems like they're going to go for the charge straight down mid lane. Top general manager has rotated in, and I imagine we'll be seeing the GG anytime now. Nilla is going to look for the Echo Slam, I imagine, one more time before he gives it all up. But realistically, without the Spirit Breaker for 40 seconds, there's not much they can do. They've only got a Silver Edge on this Silencer. Solitas going to YOLO it up. Going to throw up a Remnant and just go for the Sleight of Fist. Nobody really around. Echo Slam going to be thrown out, and it looks like that's going to be it. Global Silence even going to be used on top of that, but Solitas' damage isn't really there anymore. Doesn't have the crits that he needs, and it's most likely going to be GG. Winter's Curse going to go down on a general manager, but Nilla just explodes. Scrub going to be following, and Solitas will get Glimmer Caped up. Going to pop the BKB. Crush up now onto the Wyvern. Buyback over here from the Silencer. Sleight of Fist going to be used yet again. There's the chains, and now they're just diving. Good game well played from the Electric Panthers, and Team Chunch, they're going to take this series 2-0 up against the Electric Panthers, and well played from Team Chunch indeed. They drafted it really well. I saw where the Electric Panthers were going with that Silencer, but I don't think it was the pick, and good game well played to both teams. So thanks a lot for Devin for requesting for me to cast this game. I really enjoyed casting it, and hopefully if you guys do ever meet again, I'm not sure if this is the playoffs, but if you do meet again, let me know. Or Team Chunch, if you guys are moving forward in the playoffs, just let me know. I'll cast some of your games, whether it's live or via VOD. I really enjoyed doing it, and 50 minutes and 5 seconds is all it took for Team Chunch to win. So good game well played, everybody, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series From Lane to Lane, where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs, like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from Dota Buff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description, as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.